Hey everybody, welcome back to We Are Podcast Network. This is We Are Air, Season 3, Episode 6, The Rise of Skywalker. If this is your first time checking out the podcast, thank you so much. Please go to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, or iTunes, and give We Are Podcast a like. And if you get a chance, head over to our social media. All links can be found in the description. We're at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at /We Are Podcast. With that said, on to the podcast.
We Are Error.
Hey everybody, welcome to the We Are Era podcast. This is Duck. I'm here with
Jake
and
Tom.
And ladies and gentlemen, what is the We Are Era podcast? The podcast we talk about movies, entertainment, and fucking Star Wars.
Oh yeah, we drink a lot.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Also, yeah, we're going to be drinking, and we went to see
Episode 9.
We saw Episode
Skywalker
9.
Ascending?
Yes.
Saga. The end of Saga.
The end of Saga. I'm calling it
Saga.
Episode 9, Rise of the Fan Service, because I feel like that's what it is. And we're going to discuss it. I feel like we have very differing points of view on how we saw this movie and how we feel about it. And we've been waiting patiently. We've been talking here and there about it, but we've been waiting to discuss it as a group. So we're just going to jump right into it. Rise of Skywalker. Javi, how did you feel about it?
It was alright. I didn't particularly care much for it. It was a movie, as we said after it was over.
That's how I felt.
Movie.
After we saw it, I was like, it's a movie. Jake, how'd you feel about
I
it?
think what I said was a perfect ending to a mediocre trilogy.
Yeah, you did say that, yeah.
7 out of 10.
I'm going to agree with you. Leaving the movie theater, I think I said 70% liked it, 30% have issues with it. There is major issues with this movie.
Oh yeah,
If
it's not perfect by any means.
No, but I've watched it 2 times now, and I feel like the second time was much smoother, much more fun. And really, for me, when we left the theater, my feeling was, if it was 4 acts, I liked the first 2, and I liked the 4th act. That 3rd act was a fucking mess. And I said, oh yeah, spoilers, by the way. Spoilers. We're not going to not spoil
Why
this.
would you listen to this if you haven't seen it?
Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with you?
This is how we learn, boys.
As I was saying, for me, if it's a 4-act movie, which I think most movies are 3 acts, but I'm going to say 4 acts. First 2 work, 3rd one falls to pieces, 4th act comes back with vengeance. Totally works for me. When I left the theater, I said, once Chewie dies, quote unquote, dies, I thought the movie kind of turned to shit. Because I'm like, okay, do we need all this? But now that I've watched it again, I dig it. So do we want to start from the beginning and kind of walk through it, or you guys just want to... Is there anything specifically that you liked about this movie that really stuck out to you and made you happy, or is there anything that you fucking hated?
The whole intro with Palpatine, whenever it starts off with Kylo Ren just fucking people up on Exegol.
Finally being a badass. Finally
just
being...
destroying motherfuckers to get to Palpatine to kill him. But all the scenes of Palpatine, the cuts, the fucking streaks of the violins, whenever it would like cut black real quick and then it'd show flashes of it and you hear that. You know, that shit was fucking dope. It was like almost creepy. It's like, man, they're making this a little fucking dark. I like this shit.
Oh, yeah.
So...
What was it rated? It's got to be PG-13, right?
I think all 3 of these trilogies all 3 in this trilogy are PG-13. Those are the only ones. Yeah, and the only PG-13 movie before these was Revenge of the Sith, but that was because it had so much delimbing in there.
Right.
And decapitations.
Oh, yes, the good stuff. I agree. Palpatine, it sells this movie for me. And a lot of people hate it, and that's what I've heard over and over again. Evidently, he wasn't supposed to be there. There was supposed to be another situation.
It was supposed to be Snoke.
I don't even care. Palpatine makes it. I love Palpatine.
Yeah.
I talked about it in the prequels. I talked about the Emperor in the original trilogy. Anytime he's on screen, I'm happy as a kid in a kid store. Or a kid in a kid store? That sounds weird. Kid in a candy store.
I was happy as a man lover.
I was happy as a pedo in a kid store.
I was happy as a NAMBLA member in a kiddie store.
I was happy as a kid in a candy store.
I was happy as a child molested in the NICU.
God damn it.
Oh, that got super dark.
I was happy as a man in a candy store with children in there.
It sucks because I can't take it out now. All right. I was happy as a pedophile at a fucking playground. I don't fucking know. It was... Oh, that's so evil. That's so wrong.
Like sliding on that slide, Timmy.
Once again, we've been drinking.
Oh, careful, that slide's hot.
Oh. So, but Palpatine fucking rocks this movie. Plus, he looks like a zombie. And
Oh yeah,
and-
dude. With the milked over eyes, the fucking charred up
Yeah.
fingertips and shit.
And
He's
you
really
said
bad
this.
about, like diabetes and glaucoma and cataracts.
yeah. It's truly fucking decrepit looking.
And then Wilford Brimley slides in next to him. He's like, diabetes.
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 In a galaxy far, far away, even you could get diabetes.
When he shows up, though, and his fingers look like that, and they're all chipped away, and Jake pointed this out, he goes, because of the Force lightning, that's why he didn't have his fingers. I didn't put two and two together. I was like, that's really fucking, that's crazy that they did that.
There's a major fucking loophole here. He died just above the planet Moon Endor, right? Okay, so the crash landed in the other moon of Endor. I forget the name of it.
It's not the Force
water
moon, but it's
planet.
the other one.
So why did they have to go to Exegol to find him, right? Like, wouldn't his remains, or wouldn't he be, like, shacked up in the fucking remnants of the Death Star, what was left over?
Well, he
like,
has
did
all those little workers.
Was he able to teleport himself to Exegol, or has he been operating there the entire time?
Right.
And he made a clone of himself, and they've all been clones. So even Sheev Palpatine, before he even became Darth Sidious, could have been a
Possibly.
clone. And that explains how he could have had relations with somebody.
When we first go to Exegol, we see the Snoke clones. We see them in the jar. So I'm like,
So
what's...
that was fucking hilarious.
I was like, what the fuck is going on with that? I was like, all right, well, there is clones in this universe.
They're
But-
like, well, we have to address where the fuck Snoke came from, seeing as Ryan fuckhead Johnson just decided to just, well, he doesn't even mean anything.
I was
Just
also
cut him in
surprised
half
to
and leave
see
his
that.
tongue sticking out like a dead cow.
I was also surprised to see that he was cloning like stroke victims. Like I was looking to see,
Yeah, like, why would you make-
what Snoke would look like if he was normal?
Right.
Like
Why
not
would-
the stroke face or anything like that.
Why did they just have Andy Serkis in these fucking things? Like,
well, that's a good
Calling
point.
Joseph
Yeah.
Merrick,
Was that,
essentially.
and that's the thing with this movie. There's a lot of retconning what
he
the
has
last...
to explain, yeah.
Yeah, so you got The Force Awakens, which is a very solid movie. I stand by it. I think it's pretty good. Jake said it. He goes, episodes 3 through 7 work for me, and they're fucking great. Everything before that and everything after is so-so. But this movie, I do feel that way. I like it more than I dislike it. I really do feel like I said, 70-30 split, and with another watch, I go, yeah, I dig it because of the fan service thrown into it. And you said before, you're like, if this movie's fan service, it'll be fine. This movie is fan service. This movie is 100%. We fucked up with The Last Jedi. We've got to turn tail on this. And a lot of people are saying, I feel like Trump when I said it, a lot of people are saying, they're saying that this movie is a sequel to The Last Jedi everyone wanted. I don't agree with that. This movie is a sequel to The Last Jedi. But it does put the middle finger to The Last Jedi a lot.
Right.
Even in the opening credits, I've never seen this before, and I noticed this in the theater. It says, the dead speak, and every time it would go to a character's
capitalized.
name, it was capitalized.
Yeah.
It was like it was saying, these are the real characters.
Right.
Fuck you, Ryan Johnson.
Right.
And I kept thinking that the whole time. I'm like, okay, so where else are we going to see that? And there's multiple times throughout the movie where we see a middle finger thrown at episode 8. And there's a lot of behind-the-scenes drama. Evidently, Kathleen Kennedy didn't even want J.J. Abrams back for this movie. That was a Bob Iger decision.
Yeah.
He brought
'cause
him
Bob Iger's fucking smart. What happened here? We got almost a soft reboot of Force Awakens. You know who wrote that? Lawrence Kasdan. Lawrence Kasdan wrote fucking Empire.
And Jedi.
And Jedi.
And Jedi, yeah. And Solo.
Okay. So they give Ryan Johnson writing and directing, and they did the same thing with JJ. JJ can fucking direct great movies, but he shouldn't be writing them.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think Kasdan had a lot to do with that. The other guy who wrote this was Chris Terrio, who wrote Batman
vs. Superman.
and Justice League. And, I mean, he's a script for hire kind of guy. He's not going to go to bat for his script. And a lot of people...
He did go to bat for his
that's
script.
That's not fair.
Batman
because
versus Superman.
he did go to bat for his script. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people, they are that. They get hired on, they have to do a job.
Freelance
Some
writers.
people are a little bit closer attached to it. And this movie was supposedly rewritten 5 times. It does feel like that in spots, but I think he did the best he could with what he had.
You need somebody who knows, loves, cares, worships the source material.
Well,
you know?
let's talk about the story from that point of view. Like I said, the first hour to hour and a half of this movie works for me. A lot of that comes down to setting. There is a lot of story that happens. Does it happen too quickly? For me, I liked it. I kind of like that breakneck feel that this movie had where it just kept going. But there is a MacGuffin, and it's over and over and over.
A MacGuffin that leads to a MacGuffin that leads to a MacGuffin. Yeah.
And so that's the part where I'm kind of like...
McLovin.
But for me, that kind of worked because it felt like Star Wars mixed with Indiana Jones for me, where I was like, okay, they're going after something, they're going after something, they're going after something.
Right.
And I love seeing those 3 main characters together.
Yeah,
I think
they have good chemistry
They
together.
do.
They do.
A lot of people have been complaining, saying that it feels like they were just saying shit to get to the next
Ray
scene.
and Finn were flat. is what I've been hearing.
I
Also,
didn't feel that way at all. I felt the
think
exact opposite. I felt like they were on point for
they
the
were.
whole thing.
I think they were better and more composed and seemed more grounded as actual characters in this one than they did in The Last Jedi.
I agree.
Whereas Finn was just a joke, and he was only there for a punchline for most of the fucking movie.
Absolutely.
Like with the fucking spraying water coming out of his suit, all the Space Vegas bullshit. Like he's just there for reaction.
Well, that's the thing with Finn. I've realized over the course of this trilogy, he's there to yell people's names whenever they're in trouble. He's always like, "Ray!
Yeah.
Oh!
But this,
oh,
honestly,
bitch!"
this whole trilogy is everybody just yelling each other's names. Like,
It's a lot of
no, Leia! No, Finn!
But I feel like JJ's movies do feel more like a Spielberg movie than they do a George Lucas movie. I do think that is the one thing.
Yeah, you look at Super 8, and that's a damn fucking ripoff of an old Spielberg
And
movie.
with these Star Wars movies, it's the same thing. For me, they are closer in dynamic to Spielberg movies than they are to the original Star Wars. But I kind of like that, and I like his versions of these.
So let's go back and look at what worked and what didn't.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
obviously you have to review the classics, right? Take that approach. He did all right.
I think he did all right with this. Hobbs, what do you think? What did you think of Finn, Rose, and Poe in this?
I really didn't care. I thought, like how you like to break the pace of the story, right? That really took it out. I felt like it was going way too much, way too fast. I pretty much didn't care for that pacing. That pacing kind of like threw me out of the movie a little bit.
Now, you said after the movie was over, you really didn't like it. What was it about this movie that did not work for you? What were you expecting versus what you got?
Okay. I figured they were going to go big for like, oh, it's the last movie of this saga, I guess. So I expected them to like kill off a major character or two. You know, I felt like the fan service is way too much. I love fan service,
you
but
thought that they did for a moment there, though.
I did, and I don't know if you said it. I know it was what Will said. They should have left it at that.
Well, so yeah, and that's what I was thinking also, because I think it would have had more impact and bared more, significance on their journey.
With Chewbacca dying?
Yeah.
Point.
I think so too. Whenever he died,
the stakes
I
are
was like,
raised,
I was like,
and
this works.
they're out for revenge. But the only reason why I knew that wasn't going to happen is they showed him in the commercials with Lando flying in the fucking Millennium Falcon.
Absolutely.
It could have been a red herring like the Russos did with Hulk running in Infinity War. But I knew like there's no way they're going to give him an unceremonious ending like that. They have to give him a hero's ending if they're going to kill him off, right?
Right. And that's why I said, for me, at first I was like, that's when the movie falls apart. But really it doesn't, and we'll get to when it does. But
Like that scene, I feel like, oh shit, we're about to get serious.
yeah, that was a good scene.
That was actually very surprising, though. It showed her sheer power. That is unheard of. Like Luke struggled to raise the fucking X-wing fighter out of Dagobah.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
She
So she's
fucking
pulling.
stopped that
She's
shit. It was
she's
like
pulling
instant.
it back out of the sky. She's pulling it back into the fucking atmosphere.
And
it's a massive ship. And then Kylo shows up and they're having this tug of war and then the fucking lightning comes out of her fingertips.
And
It's
you're
like,
like,
whoa.
what?
Jedis
What?
don't do that.
Yeah. And I thought that too. I was like, whoa. But I was stupid. I didn't put two and two together to what the big twist was going to be.
Yeah.
The big thing that doesn't work for me in this movie is Leia. It does not work. It's terrible. I don't know if they should have done it. They shouldn't have done it. I understand why they did it. But me and Jake were talking about this on the ride home. The thing that doesn't work is you can tell it's not her. It's really weird how Daisy Ridley and her interact in those scenes. And the way they did those scenes, they had a body double, and then they just CGI'd on top. I'm not saying that doesn't work. It's a little bit uncanny valley for me. It's how they talk to each other.
Right. Well, they would show her backside, and you could tell that they put a ADR behind it. You
And
know,
even
just
on
saying
top of
some
that-
line from the first two films that they shot.
I think it was only shots from the first film was what they did. But the thing that bothered me was, and I said this to you, it was like that episode of South Park with Chef.
Yes.
Whenever Isaac Hayes
just
quit
piece
the
the
show.
voice together with like different lines.
Exactly.
saying,
So when he's like,
"Well, hello there, children."
I want to do you. But that's the thing that bothered me the most. I was like, this doesn't work because the way they're having conversations with
Just
Phil.
you know that she's gone.
I was thinking that too.
And then
Is that
it's
a mental block for me?
I know. I felt weird when I would see those things. Like she's fucking gone. What are they doing?
But
they should have just let her die and her character along with her.
I think you need her
they
though.
but it just felt a little too like they shoehorned it in.
Yeah.
Like
they were forcing it.
Yeah, no pun intended.
Forcing.
Yeah, exactly. But I think they embellished too much upon it. Like you could have kept some of these scenes and it still would have had the same importance.
Right.
Without adding too much of she's her master and she's training her. And you could tell like that's not even where the fucking story was going, though.
But that worked for me. That was the thing that I liked that. The problem is I needed more. There wasn't more.
Right. So, okay. So, yeah, you don't have the substance for it.
Right.
So you can't...
I like that idea.
You can't complete that arc, though, because you don't have the means
You don't have it. You don't have the meat to put in there. You
Right.
don't have all the scenes that need to be done. I will say, whenever Greg Grunberg interacted with her, she's like, I need a little bit of hope or something like that. That worked. And
Right.
Daisy Ridley has said in interviews those scenes were really hard to film. So maybe it is partially
Little
her fault.
optimism. And he's like, oh, this is going to be terrific.
That's going to work out
Yeah.
great. But it did. That scene worked. Maybe the acting against her just doesn't work because she's a little bit flat in those scenes. That's it, though. I think she rocks the rest of this fucking movie. The big thing that bothered me is later with the big scene where Leia lays down and dies. It makes no fucking sense. Zero sense to me.
There's so many of those moments now.
All right, what
Yeah.
other moments were like that to you?
The fucking kiss.
Let's get to that
Okay.
at the end of the podcast.
Well,
I see what you're saying.
I think it kind of makes sense in this universe if Padme can just die for losing the will to live.
These movies are better than those movies.
You
though.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what
Okay,
you're saying.
so, but essentially what happened is she used all of her strength of the Force to show Ben her love. And by doing so, it took her life force to do that, to reach him to change to the opposite side. So, I mean, to me, that kind of makes sense.
Not against it, but the way it's done, I don't like. With the silhouette of her face, she says his name, and then she goes to sleep.
But they both hear those. I mean, that was kind of cool.
I mean, but at the same time, knowing that it could have been better, that part for me, and like I said, the third act, there's two things that don't work, and that's one of the things I was like,
For the most part, I agree with you, but I can also, like I'm saying, like I'm just suspending disbelief here a little bit.
And
where
also,
it's
you have
like-
to accept the fact that that's the best you're going to get.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to get anything more than that. Like we've already said, it's
it's
either
weak
you
sauce.
kill her off whenever she's in space, floating out there, or you make her the hero and holdo maneuver.
But Javi said it best. Knowing now that she's dead, the same thing. If I knew they weren't going to originally use Palpatine in this, it might have changed my perspective of it.
do it.
But I fucking love Palpatine in this.
Yeah.
If I didn't know she was dead, would this movie work for me? Possibly.
I think those scenes would definitely work a lot better had she
yeah.
been alive.
I think so too. But if I went into the movie not knowing that she passed away, I might be able to accept these more.
But there's just something weird that, like, I don't know, I felt it whenever she was on screen and Joe, like, this does not feel right.
The body double doesn't move like Carrie Fisher. She stands still.
Mostly
alive.
standing still with her hands behind her
Yeah,
back and shit like that.
It just, you can tell it's uncanny valley-ish.
And,
A lot of people are giving it credit. I'm going to go the exact
And
opposite.
you can even hear in the voice, like, okay, this does not sound human. Like,
Well, there's-
it was fucking weird.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's-
Javi and I have a friend who are saying that this is all about Leia and Leia's arc, and I'm pretty much, I'm going to fucking punch him in his face next time I see him in person.
But the Leia stuff for me does not work at all in this movie. How did you guys? feel
I
about
thought
it?
you said you liked the Leia Luke training sequence.
I did, and that is
So
the
the
one
thing
thing.
that threw me off is because they said that they were not going to use her likeness and redo it again.
Right, CGI.
Apparently, her brother owns the estate, and also her daughter, Billy Lord,
Is in the movie.
Has a good chunk of it this time. She's been in all three of them. But they said, yeah, they thought it was tastefully done. JJ got with them and did it, even though they said that they were not going to use her likeness anymore.
I liked it, and the reason why, when they do the flashback to the past, number one, they're building up that she's a Jedi Master, which was weird to me in the beginning. I was like, Master? What the fuck is this? She doesn't have Jedi powers. Like I said, there's not enough footage or enough time spent on it, but basically the story is, at the end of her training, she saw that her son would go to the dark side.
Let's just be realistic here. Luke was the last Jedi Master.
Right.
So he's the only one who could say, like, oh, yeah, you're a master.
But retconning.
Like, so, no, but I'm just saying, like,
Right.
it's just like, oh, yeah, you can do some of the same stuff I can do.
Well,
yeah, you're a master. You're a master.
I got the impression that he kind of thought that she was better than him at all.
Well, yeah, because
Wasn't
she
that
got...
always implied, though? That she was stronger than him?
Yeah, that's what it was kind of implied.
Well, yeah, because Darth even said, if you won't churn, maybe she will.
And
then he's like, never!
he's like, stop your whining, you bitch.
No, you cannot fuck your
that-
sister.
Well, we'll get into the incest. That plays into this, too. But for me, that scene, I think that was on the cover of one of the books when I
Yeah,
was a
you
kid.
tell me. Yeah, but
And-
you know what they said? Fuck the EU.
Yes, that's true. But they
This is
pulled.
like-
But
Oh,
they take
Legends?
that way they
No.
can take that way they can take from every bit of the EU.
But you didn't like that at all whenever you saw them in the
Yeah,
flashback?
I guess. I don't know.
You didn't
It's
like
just
it, it's
this
all
fucking.
I could tell when I said I liked it, you were like, God damn it, Duck. Why?
I don't know.
very disappointed in
It just
you, Duck
seemed forced. Like,
You don't like it.
right. Like, just why not just have fucking Luke trainer like it should have been, which was the whole fucking end idea of Kasdan's script in the first one. Whenever she
was
goes to
forced.
hand him the fucking lightsaber,
Right.
and Ryan Johnson's like, I'm going to subvert everybody's expectations. Fuck the Force.
Yeah.
Whoop.
No, you're right. And that's the thing I text you guys. The first thing that happens whenever she goes back to the island and she's burning up the TIE fighter or whatever it is, and she goes to throw the lightsaber in it. Luke grabs it, Force Ghost Luke, and he walks out and goes, a Jedi's lightsaber deserves more respect.
Right. That was a
I'm
fuck
like,
you to
that
Ryan
was a
Johnson. That was
straight
a
up.
straight up like, dude, how are
Straight
you
up.
going to take what I just got done writing and accomplishing, and you're just going to just take that ending and go, out the window.
Yep, and that's exactly what happened. And that's why I thought it was funny, because, like I said, in that third act, there's things that happen that didn't work for me as a movie.
That was the main
But
fuck
they're
you.
pure fan service things. The other thing, having that whole conversation with Luke going, I was wrong, let's do this, raising up this
The X-Wing.
Yes.
Yeah.
All that is pure, like,
Yeah.
fuck you, Ryan
What
Johnson.
Luke should have been on that fucking island.
Exactly. And you can tell Hamill was just, like, loving it. It's
Yeah.
just like, this is my Luke.
Right.
This is what we're doing.
Right.
The other thing is Leia lays down and dies, and then we get Han Solo as a memory to Ben Solo. That did not work for me. In the second viewing, I was prepared for it, but God, I was not prepared for Harrison Ford to pop into that screen. How did you guys feel about that whenever he showed up?
I thought it was cool, but I was like, oh, it's Harrison.
Now, you could tell that was Batman versus Superman writing right there. That was
Yeah.
Kevin Costner visiting fucking
yeah.
Henry Cavill
Yeah.
up at the end, and as a memory. And they're fucking rehashing old shit, even though
Yeah.
Kevin Costner was dead. Like, that was a direct fucking pull from that
Right.
shit. And I was like, man, are you kidding me? Like, Harrison Ford didn't even take the time to fucking look like he did in the first one.
Well,
Like,
he looked like he rolled out of bed,
Yeah.
smoked a doobie like normal, and he was like,
let's just shoot this shit.
yeah, let's get to it.
God,
Yeah, it was,
give me my
but I
paycheck.
do like the fact that he dies.
They address it as memories also.
They do. They don't say it's a Force Ghost.
That makes it a little bit better. Like, if you're Force sensitive, you can remember things better than anybody else can. You can almost, like, photographic or videographically memorize, what happens, and you can replay it wherever. That I like. And also, the human memory is fuzzy. So maybe that's why Han Solo doesn't look exactly the same as he did whenever that happened also.
I also do like, this is just my own personal interpretation. When Kylo Ren said the line, he did, I know what I have to do, but I'm not too sure how to
liked it
do
too.
I was expecting Han Solo, but, I thought you were going to stab me.
Yeah, exactly. And he's just, not again.
Oh, God. But there's that great callback where he goes to say, with the look on his face, and we'll get to the look of Kylo Ren and how Javi reacted to it the entire movie.
Every time.
But he's looking and he's saying, and he's saying with his face, like, I love you, Dad. And instead of saying that, or he just says, I know, which is the greatest callback to Empire.
Of course.
I was like, fuck yeah. I dig that. Like I said, in the second viewing, I really, really dug it. Like, and once again, we're playing with the chips that were left over from Carrie Fisher passing
You're
away.
making chicken salad out of chicken shit.
But I ate it, and I dug it.
I don't know. I was like, I don't know.
Let's talk about Kylo Ren and how you felt, Hobbs. So there was a wonderful thing during the viewing of this movie
As
where
Hob would call him, Krylo Ren.
Kylo Ren.
Right around his cry fighter.
Here's the thing. Adam Driver is a powerhouse in this movie. He kills it. I think he gets the best fucking arc in this movie. He's strong in the beginning. And, whenever he changes from Kylo Ren back to Ben Solo, even his body posture changes.
Yeah, he wears a sweater. He lets his hair down.
Yeah, he does. He gets a turtleneck and shit. But it does. He kills it. And I think he's a great actor.
I think he is, too. I
think he's
fucking
amazing.
love him as Kylo Ren.
But every time he cried, Javi would start fucking chortling to himself.
Oh, my
just
God.
a silent chortle. He's just... I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then it's contagious because your laugh is contagious. So there's that amazing
spreads
scene
around.
where they go to the Endor moon. That's not Force Moon of Endor, but the different one.
The wreckage of the Death Star. They're inside finding
which is
Wayfinder.
cool. And so they get there, and then she finds the Wayfinder, like you said, and then she drops it, or
like it slides out of her hand, and he picks it up.
she's fighting her.
He force grabbed it out of her hand as soon as she grabbed it, I think.
Well, right before that, she's fighting Sexy Ray, and I'm telling you, fucking anorexic, heavy eyeliner Ray. I was like jerking it. Y'all didn't see. I was like 2 seats away from just like, oh yeah,
Oh, show the teeth again.
oh sweet, yeah.
Show the sharp
She
teeth.
did. She pulled a Lord of the Rings. She pulled a bulldog. So anyhow, the thing falls out of the hand. He picks it up, and she goes, "Give it to me." And I just hear fucking Hobbs go.
You see Kylo, and you hear him go.
And like he just his lip out. He's like,
He pauses for like 3 seconds, like a little lip quiver
I
and
think
eyes.
Will said it best. Was like, "How dare you say that to me?"
And like that, no, that's like a whole range of emotions. Like he's scared, his dick moved a little, like everything. Like he's like, oh.
I didn't in the theater. I didn't see it. I just thought you guys were laughing because she said, "Give it to me." But like watching it back again, he's
Yeah, I was like, I started out laughing, then Will fucking laughed, and then Meg laughed, and then that's when you started
I
laughing.
started laughing because you guys were laughing. I was like, I don't know. I was like, it's great, but now that I've seen it, Javi and Jake both sent me a video of them redoing it. It's the funniest fucking thing ever. I will load up a video for that because it's fucking great. But he did that a couple times in this movie. Does
that every time when he cries.
He does that in every movie.
Well, that's what Javi said. He
But
goes,
also-
he cries ugly, so he goes, I can never take it serious.
I will say he is the best character in this franchise.
It's amazing.
And well, not the franchise, but the
These 3 movies.
trilogy.
These 3 movies, he has the best character arc. I don't think The Last Jedi ruins his character arc at
No.
all. I think that
Not
it's
at all.
a great carryover.
It builds more onto what he's got going on right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Last Jedi had the Werther's original scene where
Yeah.
He's just sucking on it. I think, but seriously, he's really good. And I also think Daisy Ridley's really good in these movies.
I do
Yeah,
too.
she is.
I also like, who plays Poe? Shit. I like all of them.
Oscar Isaac
Isaac
is
is
fucking
fucking
awesome.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
he
dude.
gets to shine
He
in this
kills it
movie.
in every one of them he's
But
been in.
he really shines in this movie. He gets to be funny. He
He's
gets to
Han
be
Solo.
charismatic. He very much is.
He's Han Solo.
There are also more characters that are introduced in this movie. I don't know if that's because they want more toys out there, but there's at least 3.
Trust me.
There's the weird slug thing on the Millennium Falcon. There's the...
Dio is awesome.
Do you like
I
Dio?
like Dio.
Dio's fucking great.
I thought he was...
That's J.J. Abrams'
Yeah.
voice also.
I thought it was cute, but BB-8.
I really, I love BB-8, but I'm
BB-8's
saying I
got
think that it's fitting that BB-8 has a sidekick droid,
Absolutely.
Dio, like C-3PO
Well,
and
let's talk about
fucking
that.
R2-D2.
C-3PO gets a ton of fucking screen time.
He has some of the best lines in this movie.
He is 100% C-3PO. Now, we talked about this movie does try to recreate the Marvel humor. There's a lot of missed moments where it does not hit. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy has humor that continues to be charming and funny, kind of like Ghostbusters. Everything that is said, you might not laugh at it. It's charming and funny, and it fits the story.
But it's not forced.
Yeah, this movie, much like The Last Jedi, does force the humor. But I will say C-3PO got me a couple times where I was like, okay, I dig this.
Yeah.
And that character really does have an arc in this movie up until the point where his memory is...
He has an arc through the entire... He's the only one that has an arc through
Right.
the entire trilogy.
And I really, really
You see him
like it.
from his beginning to his very fucking... Well, to what we know is his end, I guess.
Well, even the part where he says R2-D2, you've been my best friend. That got
Yeah.
me a little bit where I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
same
shit.
here.
Right on. But I
Well,
also...
even Lucas said that they were going to be the only ones that made it through the
Yeah.
entire fucking saga.
I really like it, though. I like what they did with him. I also like the character they introduced who wipes his memory, Boba Frick.
Boba Frick is the
Frick.
best part of this fucking movie.
Dude, Boba Frick fucking killed it.
Boba Frick
And-
is fucking awesome.
And the second I saw him, I was like, oh, I don't want to love this thing. Oh, it's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this thing. It's
like,
hilarious.
you're just throwing this in here.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
worked.
like,
Now, I do want to point out, though.
quit making me laugh, you little fucking
Yeah.
asshole.
Oh, you're hilarious. But Zori Blitz, is that the name of the character?
Zuri Bliss, Carrie fucking...
Does it work for you guys?
Kind of, I don't know.
I think they're
They-
trying to create
Yes.
I think they're trying to create a love interest so they can keep the triangle between Poe,
You're
Finn, and Rey platonic.
You're right. You're right.
Which is why they got
because there was a little
Finn
bit of
and the Black
tension.
Well,
Girl,
because- and
Poe,
then
another
also-
fucking Spice Runner.
And
Right.
that way it didn't seem weird with Ray and Ben
Yeah.
being
There was
soulmates.
but there was some tension between Ray and
Oh, there's
and
that.
Poe.
Like
at
when
the
they were
beginning.
talking at the beginning,
Well,
and shit,
and then also-
I had like fucking flashbacks of Empire Strikes Back when the Ansel's about to break out and she's fucking being all pissy because he won't say goodbye to her. He's like, "Oh, you getting mad because I won't say goodbye to your princess?"
Well, they did that shit reverse because they had Finn about to exclaim that he loved Ray.
That's what I always wanted to tell you.
Exactly. It's like, never mind. And then fucking Poe's like, what, you don't want to tell me? Like, what are you going to say to her?
Yeah.
It's like, nothing, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Shut
but
up.
Yeah, why don't you tell her next time I'm not around?
do you think that's what it was though?
Yeah.
I
Like,
really
was-
do.
I was
I think
trying-
it's going to be I love you.
I don't get the feeling that she reciprocates that though.
No.
I don't either.
think
No,
that's-
she really loved Ben, I think. Or
Yeah.
at least the way that they framed it in this movie. She obviously feels a connection.
She's a
so
star fucker.
So the
that's why,
Force
yeah.
is astute. Like, you feel connections with people
I
before
think
you even know it.
I
So,
think she
like,
may have been into Poe.
Okay,
Because at the end of the movie, when they were doing that triangle hug, she locked hands with him. And only him.
No, I don't.
that might be like some, like, behind-the-scenes shit where, like, they're closer than what it seems, and they don't catch that shit on camera, or the editor doesn't, or the director doesn't.
Yeah, I don't.
What
think
I'm getting at, though, is if the Force is so strong, you can tell others' feelings, what they're feeling. She had visions of them sitting on a throne together. She fucking kissed him to give him back life. She already saved his life. She saw who he was, and she loved him. That's what I interpreted from it.
Well, I like when she said, I didn't reach for Carlos.
Yeah,
I reached for Ben's.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
I
That's
like
what
that
I'm
a lot.
saying.
So
I get that, and that's why she fucking held him also.
Hey everyone, it's just Doc jumping in here real quick to say thank you so much for checking out the podcast today. If you're enjoying it, please head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, iTunes, and give We Are Podcast a like. And if you get a chance, head over to our social media. All links can be found in the description. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /We Are Podcast. And if you're enjoying the podcast today, please share with your friends. It's the only way we can grow this network. With that said, back to the podcast. Well, let's talk about that. It was introduced in The Mandalorian. Baby Yoda.
They had to shoehorn it into here.
Yep.
The main thing is, this opens up a whole can of worms. Literally, because she had to kill a giant worm before this shit.
Now, we get the fucking sand snake, or worm, or whatever the fuck it was, and she somehow notices that it is hurt.
Sand snake, sandworm was in a Beetlejuice.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, but I mean, it's actually a trimmer, I think.
It is 100%. Kevin Bacon showed up, and
Yeah.
he tipped his hat to it, and I was like... But I'm not talking about in the movie. I'm talking about in the theater. He was like, look at that.
Yeah, it was actually Kevin Bacon in the backyard.
I was like, shit, yeah. I was like, fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Sorry.
So she heals
It's
it,
dead.
and, you know, and then it slithers away, and she goes, it would have done the same for me. I was like, no, it wouldn't, bitch.
No,
It was a fucking snake.
It was on the verge of eating all of you.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
What
which
the fuck
brings
are you
us
talking
into
about?
the next stupid MacGuffin.
What's that?
The goddamn dagger.
Yeah. Why did you need the dagger? Are you selling that?
Because
Is that a
movie.
toy? What is going?
Because movie.
You're right. Because
Plot
movie.
point, they need to get C-3PO to get his wipe memory.
I guess, man. That's the thing
Well-
that I'm saying. This movie, there's a
Without
lot
that
of
stupid
that.
fucking
So-
dagger, we get no Babu frick.
So
You're right.
it has
Payoff.
ancient Sith text written on it.
And then they
Like-
find the Ark of the Covenant, and it
How
becomes a different movie.
ancient is this text?
It's like 30 years, right?
It has to be if it lines up with the crash
Right.
of the Death Star
Right.
wreckage.
Right. Unless they somehow made it, you're right, giant loophole. Like, how did that happen?
Loophole?
'Cause I was thinking that too. I was like, it can't be that old. And they're like, well, there's ancient text. And I'm
Well,
like,
it wasn't an ancient dagger. That guy just fucking put the coordinates of the thing.
Okay.
The Jedi Hunter.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for bringing some that actually makes sense.
clarity.
Thank you.
Clarity.
That does make sense. Because, I mean, the skeleton was still there, and
Yeah,
it was
but-
still kind of decaying, so honestly, he could have been at the side of the wreckage and just inscribed the old
But
text
how did he
onto
get
the
it
blade.
perfectly carved like that? It's
He's
not
a-
like-
Well, maybe
well, he's a-
Palpatine did it for him.
If he's a Sith, he can fucking do pretty much whatever he wants. They established it in this movie. You can pull matter through fucking nowhere. You can do whatever the fuck you want with the Force.
Ooh, good point.
you can fucking shoot a load and fucking impregnate Shmi Skywalker.
Exactly. God damn, that is the best one.
I guarantee you. Palpatine was just sitting on this
He's
fucking...
exactly right. Like, he force choked his dick, force choked Shmi Skywalker, and fucking loaded her fucking womb up.
Oh, dude. All right.
He was just sitting on Exegol just jerking off
You're
all
right.
day. It was like,
You're right.
I think I want to impregnate some random
Okay,
woman.
well, let's talk about that. Rey is a Palpatine, and that reveal is very underwhelming.
It really is like,
yeah.
It
It's
was
like,
like, oh,
it's just like,
okay.
oh, all right,
she's a
yeah,
Palpatine. Now,
Palpatine.
Javi, though, turns to me and he goes, I called it. he was taking his props hardcore in the theater. He's like, I called it, bitch.
so you halfway called it. You thought that she was a clone
I could have
of
sworn that she was
Palpatine.
going to be like a clone, like
You
a
were-
vessel,
you said clone,
and that
but
she
you know what?
was like that gone, like
That is very goddamn close, and that I will give you credit for that. Personally,
I really
that
wish
was
that she would
was
have been a
good call.
clone. That like this was my perfect clone, and for some reason somebody stole her from him.
If it's a perfect clone, wouldn't it look exactly fucking like him?
I don't know. Maybe we always wanted a nice tits and a nice ass. I don't know.
Oh, my
What,
God.
like he's
that
Bruce
ass,
Jenner?
What if he's like Bruce Jenner?
What? But he wasn't.
Come on, you're gonna look at Palpatine and tell me that he's not a little bit effeminate?
It's Palpatine, not Palpagrind.
I'm telling you, he was super feminine. I think there's a little bit of flamboyancy to the
little-
Sith.
Palpatinder. He's Palpatinder.
Hey, come here, Darth Vader. Do it.
I like those boots, Vader. Where'd you get them?
These laser swords were originally supposed to be pink, but they turned out red. Like my lips.
I mean, he designed Vader's
My
suit.
heels.
I mean,
Come on, bro. You're gonna tell me that
It's like,
you can't buy that
you're
he
gonna
didn't
be
want to be
wearing
a
the
woman at least
tightest-
a little bit?
tightest black leather with a mask. I'm gonna put a little zipper right here.
tight it. Do it.
Make it hard for him to breathe. I want him to get choked on the top.
That's not your safe word.
You're right. There is a little bit of that. It's like, oh god, that's sick.
That's fabulous.
You'll be extra fabulous.
I'm just saying, it makes a lot of sense.
Yes, use the fabulousness.
Yes.
He's like, I always felt like I was a woman trapped in the Sith Lord's body.
I feel good.
I'm gonna kick some fucking ass.
I'm not here to talk about my transition.
And Ray was his transition.
I'm here to turn some fucking Jedi to the dark side.
Dude, I want that so bad. Get me Macho Man as a Sith Lord.
Come on, Vader. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you the dark side. Oh, yeah. Come to the dark side. Yeah. Let me snap you to some kyber crystals.
The only way you can make Palpatine better is if he is Macho Man. Just
do it. Go ahead. Strike me down, brother. Do it.
Oh my god,
I want you to use all your anger against me. But you will never ever get a hold of Padme. Miss Padme.
Oh my god.
This is fantastic.
Where were we?
Cream will always rise to the top. Let me tell you another thing, Luke Skywalker. Whenever you see your father, you tell him Palpatine's coming for you.
Oh my god, this is fucking fantastic.
I heard.
I don't care who you bring. You can bring the Wookiee. You can bring the smuggler. You can bring that African American smuggler from the news. I will destroy them all.
Oh my god. So
You
much.
just saved that sweet player for me, man. Sheev the Macho Man Palpatine. I am the Senate, brother. And I will corrupt all the Jedi to turn to the dark side. And we're coming for the Intercontinental Title Championship next. The Empire Continental Championship. We'll rule all the galaxies. This is the New Galactic Order, brothers.
Oh my god.
He's choking.
Oh my god. That is the most perfect character in the world.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm sweating through half my shirt. I'm done, dude.
So am I, brothers.
Oh, I fucking love it. Oh, that's my favorite thing I think that's ever happened on this podcast. I'm not even joking. Holy hell. Oh, no. Let's go back to talking about the Mandalorian. We had Baby Yoda heal Carl Weathers, which was super fucking cool.
Well, I haven't seen the last episode, so thanks for running back to me.
I think
It's fine, it's not ruined. It's not.
You still haven't watched it yet? I thought you had Disney Plus.
I do. I started watching it at work and then I got super busy.
Super busy sleeping?
Just go ahead. I already saw like half of it.
No. What I was going to say is, do you think, obviously, okay, so Jon Favreau had this written out and finished before J.J. Abrams was done with his script. And obviously, they had to pass it through all the hands.
Obviously.
To confirm everything. And, you had to pass it through the people that are writing the new movie and all this shit to see if it's going to pan out with what they're doing.
Right.
So do you think, did one beget the other? Did they see the Jon Favreau script and say, oh shit, that will make for a great piece here? And then they shoehorned it in, because I was told that there was going to be a point in The Mandalorian that tied the trilogy together with it. And I think that might be the point, that what it was is the whole Force healing aspect.
Possibly. I think that you hit a good point there. There's a good chance that it was tied in after the fact, because a lot of this was tied in after the fact. The reason it doesn't feel like a full movie is because they were refilming stuff, they were changing shit on the fly. Like I said, Palpatine wasn't even supposed to be the big bad guy of this. It was supposed to be Matt Smith, who was a Doctor Who, playing some random Sith Lord that came up out of nowhere. So a lot of this was reworked. I mean, they weren't even finished with this until like a month ago.
They rewrote all the way up until the end, pretty much.
So,
they filmed up until like...
That's why it feels like a mess, but there's so much fan service that goes into it, like I said, it
Right.
works. But as for the healing thing, yeah, I think that could totally play into that. I think that the fact that I kept saying, I think that something's going to happen in The Mandalorian that ties into this. That was the only thing. I was hoping for a little bit of Baby Yoda action, but we got Boba Fett, so it's all good.
Boba Frick.
He's really
MVP.
Cool. I like him. He's so fucking badass. I want a shirt with that little fucker and Baby Yoda just fighting it out.
Or just like
Rocky style.
I need the pop figurines. I don't
Fuck
care
yeah, dude.
anything of it.
I didn't want to love him, like I said, but then he's just so
Same
fucking,
here.
He's so good.
I was like, man, come on, like just quit adding
Yeah.
fucking cute little fucking
But it
hints and
works.
creations
It
there.
works.
And yes, he ended up being the best.
You
part.
throw me another Muppet,
like,
and I'm
one
just
of the
like,
best
God
parts.
damn it! I want puppets in my fucking Star Wars. Anyhow, she heals the snake. She says, he would have done the same for me.
That's
The basic-
bullshit.
I agree with you.
Okay.
If that's a fucking snake,
All
it's
right.
not going to do it.
Yeah.
But that does open up to the end scene. Let's get to the ending of this movie.
I would just like to just make a call back to all the references they had to 80s movies. Oh, let me fucking take this out of the fucking thing and line it up like fucking Sean Astin in the
It
Goonies.
was Goonies.
That was
Like,
Goonies.
that was one of
When
the
she
first
did
things that you
shit,
said.
I was like,
That was Goonies.
That was one of the first things he fucking said.
Well, I mean, movies beget movies, just like any art begets art, man. Like, you steal stuff that you like. You take bits and pieces that you like from something else, and you make a movie. Tusk is the perfect example. Kevin Smith did the podcast with Scott Mosier. They created the movie, and then he went and made the movie.
Any
It's just-
MCU movie is referential also.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You take stuff that inspired you, and then you put it in there. And this movie, like we said, is the purest form of that because this is fan service. This is taking things from the past, nostalgia, and throwing them in there. And while I wanted a new story in some ways, I got a new story, and I got a shit ton of fan service, and that's why I'm okay
I
with
don't know.
this.
I kind of something about the amount of fan service in this movie that was just like
It
like
didn't
a
work,
tad
yeah.
disingenuous. I liked Endgame because it had a lot of fan service, but it also didn't give me what I wanted.
It
You know?
did or it didn't?
It didn't. Like I would have loved for Stark to have lived, and like various other my favorite characters. I didn't want Black Widow to die. I didn't like the fact that everything in this fucking movie was in a nice, neat bow and said here.
You did like that, or
I
you
didn't.
Okay,
Like
so
I kind of
so
want.
you
I
like-
want to struggle for my
you
finale.
like the unexpected to happen.
Yeah.
Like you take more pleasure out of knowing that Stark died a hero's death without you expecting it.
Yeah.
And same with Black Widow. Mm-hmm. I get what you're saying. Where they did kind of wrap everything up like, oh, it's all good now. Like,
Yeah,
hey, I'm a Skywalker. And that explains the fucking title, Rise of Skywalker, right? But could that also be about Ben Solo's redemption?
I like Ben Solo's redemption actually, but I don't know why. To me, this movie didn't have like the feels that Endgame had.
I agree.
Yeah,
Like,
same here.
Like it was a
So-
finale.
no, no, no.
I wanted it to be big. I wanted dramatic.
I wanted to cry.
But
I
I didn't.
wanted goosebumps. I wanted everything. I got goosebumps a couple times, but I didn't cry like I did at Endgame.
Yeah.
And that was our empire. Well, Infinity War was our empire, but Endgame was the finale that Jedi should have been. And there were so many
It's the perfect bookend.
everything that you want here. You have it
Right.
like here. Cap's picking
It's-
up Mjolnir.
And
Like just
But
everything.
and also like when it came to that, Endgame fucking made you work for it. Whereas Skywalker didn't. It just like let me do all the
I
work.
can't
Right.
disagree with you.
Yeah.
And you're right. And that's why I said this is a 70-30 split for
So
me.
they set up so many things that were ignored also, okay? Where the fuck is Benicio del Toro? What the fuck did that have to do
What
with
happened
it?
to him?
What happened to Justin Theroux with the red bloom on his lapel in Space Vegas? None of that had anything to do with goddamn shit.
Yep.
I get that Star Wars jumps around a lot. So we lose a bunch of time in between A New Hope and Empire. That's like 3 years that passes, right? They're up on Hoth. And then it's another 3 years after that for Jedi. So I get that they can just leave off where they did in Last Jedi after that final battle, after they escape with the fucking crystal foxes leading them out of that fucking salt cave or whatever the fuck. Okay, cool. We pick up training. A lot of time has passed, but they don't specify. So I'm assuming 3 years also.
3 years or so.
About that.
Based upon the growth of Finn's hair, 3 years.
Right. Yeah, he's got little fucking.
He's Jerry curls, man.
He got
little dreads.
He got them Reggie shitlocks.
Yeah.
Like fucking Nutty Professor. Reggie, I heard of dreadlocks, but shitlocks.
Yeah. It's probably 3 years. And then there's probably, like I said, long enough that she'd become a very good Jedi, long enough that Kylo Ren can become a Sith Master. I mean, he went badass on this.
Long enough
How
that they can
fucking
create...
badass was that opening with Ren, though?
It was.
So dope.
When he did that fucking, like, he went backwards and he fucking did a moonwalk?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
He's killing it. Well, let's talk about the ending of this movie. Let's get to everything happens. The weird thing was whenever the ship was going through, like, the weird birth canal thing at the beginning with Kylo Ren, and then Rey gets the ship and she goes through the same thing. And I was like, well, how the fuck are they going to get all these other ships into there? But evidently they set up nerd. They set up hyper skipping in the beginning of it, so that's how the ships get there. The big thing at the end, they don't do the Death Star again. They do thousands of Death Stars.
Right.
Each ship has a Death Star laser on it. Do you like it or no?
So Palpatine is just conjuring these things out of nowhere?
Evidently, he's been building them for years and years and years, which I buy. I'm down with. And I like the sleek black, I love the Imperial sleek black cruisers.
So he transported a shit ton of slaves, like billions of slaves.
I think they set that up well,
build
though.
all this.
Well, they do set up that the stormtroopers are not
He's
clones.
been lying dormant for 30 plus years.
And the First Order has been taking children over and over again and training them. And we have on this second planet,
okay.
We have the,
I'm with you.
I love the fact that you have the inverse of Finn.
Yeah.
I think that's cool that they have Jaina or Jana or whatever the character's name is. And she goes, all of us were stormtroopers and we all lay down our weapons. That made me kind of go, that's fucking cool.
Okay, I wanted to see why she didn't put those goggles on that she clearly couldn't see.
Yeah, what was the story with that?
Yeah. Why can't you see out those goggles?
Yeah. We have the inverse where all these stormtroopers laid down their guns and just decided they weren't going to do it. And there's the implication that the Force spoke to all of them and said, hey, listen, don't do this.
Are they all Force sensitive?
I think they are. And I think that The Last Jedi kind of sets that up, that the Force is becoming strong with everybody.
They implied that Finn is Force sensitive in the comics. And also Poe, because his parents are the ones that had that tree.
The tree, and they planted outside his house.
So that's why he's such a badass pilot.
Right.
Because he can see things before they're happening. Same with Finn. He even called out to Rey whenever something happened to her at the end. Like, he was like, Rey! Like,
he knew that she was
dead. He knew that something happened. Yeah, exactly.
I also think that maybe the Force is a little bit stronger with Finn. He was able to wield a lightsaber.
I like how you call him the Finn. You know what? That's true. Because
when Poe tried to light up a lightsaber, it just turned into a fucking flashlight.
Yeah, but also, no shut up. That was an actual flashlight.
That was an actual flashlight?
Yeah.
Dude, I thought that was a lightsaber.
I was going to say, well,
you think it dissipated because it was...
I like where you're going with that, but also... Han Solo is the other non-Jedi. He opened up the Tauntaun to fucking put Luke inside to keep him warm.
Shit.
Yeah, that's true. I thought they smell bad.
So, I mean, honestly, so if that's the case, then he honestly might have been Force sensitive also, which is why he gave birth to a son who became a fucking
powerhouse of a
Force.
Jedi.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
A Force fucking legend. And also, the fact that he is like, just a bunch of old hokey religion, you know, in the fucking new episode whenever Obi-Wan's training Luke inside the Millennium Falcon, and he pretty much dismisses the Force, like saying, nah, it's just bullshit, it's just some fucking
But he was
magic.
probably Force sensitive.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. Is he didn't even realize it, but he still dismissed it. Like, so maybe anybody who's actually... in tune? I don't know how to explain what I'm getting at. That could also
explain why he said, I know, when she said, I love you.
Exactly.
Like,
yes.
That connection through the Force. I can feel it,
That's
bitch.
good.
You fucking love me.
I know you do.
No.
That or he was just swagger.
God damn.
It's a little bit of both.
You're making me realize I have the Force. I think Bill Cosby had the Force also.
Oh, he had the Force of the pudding pop. So, Finn is Force sensitive, right? Possibly. So, as a stormtrooper... he wouldn't have been able to hit the broadside of a barn. But as Finn is doing his own thing, he's shooting up motherfuckers like crazy. So do you think the helmets make them not be able to see shit as well as they should? Because they can't hit shit. Because they're running through the fucking...
We talked about this.
I'm telling you, dude, they're running through and they're like killing stormtroopers.
We talked about this.
Is it the helmets,
right?
The
Skywalkers are precious cargo, so they're just there to scare them into falling into Vader's trap.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's this whole theory on this.
Wait, what's the theory?
Is that... Okay, so it starts off with the Jawas being massacred in A New Hope.
Okay.
And Obi-Wan's like, only the blasters of us stormtroopers are this accurate.
Right, they're not, though.
Okay, Darth Vader sent out everybody to capture Luke Skywalker. to bring him to him. So he thinks that everybody's after him. So they're missing intentionally, pretty much. They hit whenever they want to hit.
Well, that plays into how this movie.
That's what I'm saying. They hit whenever they want to hit. You've
Order
seen them
66,
fucking take
those are
people
some
out.
accurate
That's what I'm saying.
motherfuckers.
You've seen them take people out. Those were clone troopers. However,
You see how he went like, "Oh shit, you're right."
no, he gave one of the clone troopers.
Because I got fucking big league hard just like you're like the clone troopers. Back to my point. It was a ball and I was like, oh goddamn.
Dude, you fucking hugging Mario again too. I love
This
it.
is what he does every podcast. This is tradition. But he's not wearing the Mario hat.
Yeah, get that Mario hat on. Yeah.
You can't call it Mario. You did it the first time. I know the second time you
Get
called
the
it Mario.
Mario.
It's Mario.
Get that Mario, good sir.
Get the Mario. Sir. There we go. Now this is podcasting.
This is podcasting. All right, let's get to the end. So we got Rey goes to Exegol, shows up to confront Palpatine, accepts the fact that she's the granddaughter.
Did y'all ever play Portal? Portal 1 or 2?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know GLaDOS in it?
Yeah.
That's the vibe that I got from
Fuck
Palpatine
yeah, dude.
the entire
I love it.
time. With
I love
that
it.
moving on the giant fucking arm and shit.
Well, they set that up to the beginning. They had the fucking.
Oh, I know, yeah,
they're
you
doing the
see it.
blood transfusions.
Yeah.
They're doing all that stuff, and I'm like, that's really cool. Like, I
That
really dig
reminded me of an anime that I used to watch.
Which one?
Naruto.
Nobody cares.
You ever see Star Trek First Contact?
I don't
The
watch
Borg
Star
Queen?
Trek movies.
Oh, God damn it. The Borg Queen, when she comes in, is like that. And that's really interesting to me. So Palpatine on the planet, at the end of it, he is seducing Rey like crazy, which is weird to say because that's his granddaughter. All right, let's talk about when did Palpatine get fucking laid? Because that's the part where I was like, okay, wait, huh?
That's what I'm talking about earlier with the clone shit.
How did he get laid, though? Like, at no point did I get the impression, like, that guy is fucking too.
So how did he end up in Exegol after he died in the
I think that they just, like...
Death Star crash?
The robot chicken, the janitor pulled him off and took care of the situation. You know what I mean? But, like, seriously, when did he fuck?
I know what you're thinking.
I want to see when he fucked. I watched the Star Wars Triple X porno. I didn't see any Palpatine fucking. Who was he fucking? And how did that happen?
Well, maybe we should just make a fucking Palpatine fucking
Let's do it.
porno.
Let's do it. Hobbs, you in?
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Find some ladies, though. Jesus.
The thing is, that was weird to me. I was like, all right, okay, so he fucked. Because obviously a man in power wants to
No,
have...
he didn't fuck, because if he can fucking knock up Shmi,
That was never like
right.
confirmed.
No,
I
think
think
that's
it was.
real.
I think it is.
that's
I
real.
think it's been actually confirmed that he did manipulate the midichlorians inside
created
of her. Yeah,
Virgin
inside
birth,
of her
all
ovaries.
that jazz.
Yes, I think that's been confirmed that he created him within
Agreed.
her womb.
So does this movie undo that, though? If Anakin was the product of the prophecy, the virgin birth, the midichlorians, all that good
Yeah,
shit.
but if that were the case, he wouldn't have called her his granddaughter, right?
Right.
Like he would have just called her
Prodigy or
his
something?
prodigy, his daughter,
Right.
whatever, because that would have been using a surrogate mother. So he had to have a son or daughter.
He had a son.
Well, it's a son.
But it would-
It's
well,
confirmed. It was a son.
True, but even though Ben Solo, he's still a Skywalker. You know what I'm saying? So like she could still be a Palpatine, even though her father could have been.
Well, she's definitely
A
Palpatine.
Palpatine. Yeah.
The question is, when did he fuck? I just thought he was a politician. I thought he wanted to be evil. I never got the impression he was like, do it. Give me some of that pussy. Do it. Yeah.
You know what? He can use the Force like a motherfucker.
Right.
and just
We were
be like,
saying it earlier. The fact that you could walk into a room and be
want
like,
to
your
suck
pussy
my
is
dick.
exactly your pussy is wet.
Yes.
Do it.
You want to birth my spawn.
Oh wait, he probably did because he's pure evil.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
probably did do that.
Yeah.
He probably found some poor fucker like Shmi Skywalker, who's white trash as shit, out there on the fucking outskirts of Tatooine, fucking trailer park, and same thing, and found
I've
the girl.
got plenty of spice for you back at my space trailer.
Dude.
And then he's like, me and Evan Sleaze-Begano are going to go smoke some death sticks after this.
That's what I'm saying. He got some puss, and then had a baby boy who looked like fucking... I thought it was Tom Hardy whenever he showed up in the movie. I really did. I was like, who the fuck is this?
It was like
And that whole thing-
flashbacks of Tom Hardy and the fucking Dark Knight Rises whenever he was Bane before his face was fucked up.
So that means that his son got it on with a chick that wasn't Force sensitive then.
And then creates Rey.
Damn, how fucking strong is that
And
line?
this is how they buy it back, though. This is the only part that really doesn't work. Kylo Ren says, "Oh, your parents sold you off to slavery so that you wouldn't be found by Palpatine."
Called
I'm
them
like,
drunkards.
yeah, that was like that's a stretch. That's a very much a revising history.
That was but also that was a Ryan Johnson move right there whenever he
Right.
said that they were nobody. But then he was like, yeah, so they're nobody. But also that plays in very much to the original trilogy whenever Obi-Wan Kenobi says that Darth Vader killed Luke Skywalker's father, and then finally in Return of the Jedi, he's like, well, he is your father. I didn't tell you that from a certain point of view.
Well, that's
He
what I'm
did.
saying.
Well, if you think about it, in a way, he kind of did kill Luke's father. Because when he became Vader, he killed Anakin
and he had the high
Skywalker.
ground.
Right.
But how do you feel about
That's-
the fact that revised Luke and Leia both knew that that was Palpatine's granddaughter, and they chose to train her?
I really didn't care.
Yeah, but
I was
even
like,
in
okay.
Last Jedi, Luke says himself that it wasn't Snoke, it was me.
It was me, 'cause
Snoke
I tried
that
to
did
kill
it.
him.
It was me because I tried to
Right.
fucking kill him. So, I mean, there's so many things that they had to fucking just like, we'll just put some lacquer over this.
Exactly.
And, we'll just
And
fix
just
it
kind
up.
of change this just a little bit. We get the final confrontation. Kylo Ren no longer exists. We got Ben Solo. He runs into the situation. We think that Palpatine is going to turn Rey over to the dark side so she can save her friends who are dying above her. I love the fucking gallery of Sith ghosts in the background. I don't know what the fuck that was. but
Yeah,
I
what
fucking
are
loved
they?
it.
Yeah, that
and
was
the
that was
soundtrack,
very-
man.
Oh, that was great.
the
But they're fucking chanting along
Yes.
with it. Yeah,
Oh, that was so badass.
What I
really
really
worked
liked when
for me.
Palpatine got his fingers back.
Yes,
Yes.
They
whenever-
unleashed on that fat dubstep. They went, feel the full pulse of the dogs.
Yeah, dude, it was so good. And then he comes back and he's got the glowing yellow eyes, kind of like Anakin had in
Yeah.
Episode 3. He
Any
walks
Sith
down.
has yellow
He's
eyes.
just like, listen, motherfuckers, do it. And then we get, he drains their life force. He goes, as I fell, you will fall too, Skywalker, pushes him into the abyss. And it's just him and the granddaughter there left. And he's like, I'm just going to kill you and take my fucking rightful place.
See, so he did call him Skywalker.
He did call him Skywalker, yes. And then she, at the beginning of the movie, she said, be with me, be with me. She was talking to all the Jedis from the past. And then she goes
So-
beyond all the chaos.
Okay, so before
pulled a
that,
Patch Adams and looked
before
past the
that,
problem.
before that, we had a recall of the same situation. Is whenever Palpatine is talking to Kylo, he's like, "I've been every voice inside of your head," and he did all the Sith Masters.
Oh, I love it.
So
I love it, dude. The
then we
gallery
get a
made me so
recall
happy.
whenever she has her blackout moment, and all the Jedi's are
But I
calling to
wonder
her.
when Kylo was hearing all those Sith Masters, was that Palpatine? Because he kept saying, every Sith Master lives in me.
Right.
So who's to say that he wasn't
there's
just
a-
conjuring up to fuck with Kylo's
Well,
head?
that's the thing.
That's
that-
what I'm getting at. But
that's
I'm
the
saying,
theory.
but also there's the antithesis is whenever Rey.
Like the reverse side.
It was the opposite side
Yeah.
where you hear all the Jedi voices. So we heard Qui-Gon Jinn, we heard Yoda, we heard
Mace.
fucking Ewan McGregor, we heard Alec Guinness, we heard Hayden Christensen, we heard fucking Freddie Prinze Jr., I believe,
of
Liam Neeson.
Yep.
Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Ahsoka.
And
heard
that's the
everybody.
thing. And that's the fan service we're talking about. Not only did they do the movies, they did the animated series. They went that far to be able to be like, we got everyone, and then Yoda at the end of that. And it was really cool because there was that moment where I really liked the fact that they showed the stars and that was it. And it just said, Rey, we're with you. We're doing this. And whenever she stands up, the rise, literally the rise of Skywalker,
Yeah.
as we get to why she's Skywalker at the end. I liked it, Hobbs. I'm sorry. I liked it a lot.
Rise of Skywalker.
And I was like, because I was like, it's like The Dark Knight Rises. You gotta rise,
Yeah.
bitch.
Oh, she rose, but she ain't a Skywalker.
She is at the end. I like the fact that he's like, every Sith lives within me. And she goes, well, every Jedi lives within me. Doubles down on the fucking lightsabers and takes that bitch out by pushing the Force Lightning back. Call back to Revenge of the Sith, where the Force Lightning gets kicked back by the lightsaber by Mace Windu. I thought that was cool as shit. And the fact that he takes himself out with his Force Lightning and disintegrates. And I
Yeah.
love the fact that Palpatine is godlike in this movie. As
They-
the Emperor,
but-
he was
but they
he was
all
a
are.
Sith Master. He is godlike. You're
That's-
saying everyone's godlike.
That's
in
the
this
one thing that bothers me about it.
Okay,
because if you have so many powers, you can do anything. If you can teleport matter through, yeah, exactly, through nothing. Yeah, exactly. He's right. But I'm saying, like, okay, so you see the first example of it whenever he snatches that necklace off her at Burning Man, you know?
I like that though.
Okay, but that's cool.
That's the
cool
one
as shit.
carryover from
but
the Last
that's from the
Jedi
last
that
one
I
with the
really
dice
like.
in the hands.
I like that though.
That's the dice in the hands, right?
But
okay.
the dice disappear. Whereas
Right.
with the connection they have, because they're called a dio or a duo or something like that.
right,
Dyad.
where they
Dyad?
Dyad.
Yeah. They're
Yes,
connected in
they-
the Force. I love that the three scenes that play into that. The first one, it's
The-
color coded.
There's more than that also in
Okay.
The Last Jedi. He feels the moisture
Right.
whenever
They're
on
totally
the,
connected.
Okay, so they are. So that actually does work.
Right.
But it also is like, if you're that powerful, you can do these many things. Why not just force look anywhere you want to and grab whatever the fuck you want to?
Oh, like Bill and Ted?
I'm just saying.
I guess they could. Well, I like that they
Like,
do
why do you
that.
have to go find this fucking MacGuffin? Because a movie. Yeah, exactly. Because the Force, that's why.
But the first time they do that, they connect. He grabs the necklace, and it's color-coded to the movies, because the logo for The Force Awakens was yellow.
It goes blue, red, and then orange.
It was yellow, red, and blue. Because yellow for The Force Awakens, red for The Last Jedi, and blue for the Rise of Skywalker. Yes. But the first thing he grabs is the necklace, which is yellow. The second thing that transports is like the juju beads that he cuts like from the planet, and they fall on the ground in the space station. And also the helmet falls to the ground on the ice planet. And then the third one is the lightsaber that's transported. I thought that was badass.
It was dope as shit.
It was uncalled for. But at the same time, the only reason I say that is because the Knights of Ren, earlier in the movie, and I want to point this out, there's one thing that really bothers me about these last three movies. Star Wars had created its own dialect and its own words, such as Nerf Herder, just had its own way of talking. These movies use common dialect that we use, such as in The Last Jedi when he does a your mama joke. I hated that. This movie, when the Knights of Ren pass by, the Stormtroopers go, the Knights of Ren, cool. Don't use cool in this fucking universe. Make up your own fucking word. Say something.
Say wizard.
Anything.
Say wizard.
Create something new.
Wizard would be the only thing that they should have said.
Exactly. They should have had new dialect, not common like what we said. Or yippee. Yippee! We got the end of the movie. Rey takes out fucking Palpatine, and all of her energy disappears. And so Kylo Ren, well, I guess Ben Solo at that point, does the classic hand over the top of the chasm, walks out of it, and I was like, how the fuck is he going to get her out? He's limping. Walks over, and he does the inverse. Earlier in the movie, she had transferred, after she killed him, her life energy to him.
She didn't kill him, she maimed him.
Oh, that motherfucker was
No, she
that
killed
wasn't
him.
That wasn't a lethal hit.
Oh, dude, that was totally...
It went straight through his heart.
It went right through his thigh, on his abdomen.
It was right. Well, no, it was right here.
It was like right here.
We're going to have to check that. I'm pretty sure it was a non-lethal wound.
No, wait.
Stomach.
It was right here.
It was stomach.
It was right.
But he was definitely dying.
He wasn't dying. He was just like, well, my mom's dead. I'm officially an orphan.
No. Well,
I didn't get that at all.
Yeah, I was like...
I got it. He was dying. He was dying.
I thought it was like kind of one of those things like when you're like, hey, Mom, watch me, and when you're doing a bicycle trick,
your mom
and then you fuck it up, and you don't get it right, even though you done it like 1,000 times before your mom came outside.
and
then all of a sudden...
And then the pressure hits you, and you're like, oh, no.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little bit off the side.
Mom, watch this. And then just like...
That scene really doesn't work.
You don't hit it.
The scene works for me because of the killing of him, quote-unquote, the killing of him. The whole Leia thing doesn't work. But the fact that she brings him back, and she goes, I wanted to take your hand, not Kylo Ren's, I want to take Ben Solo's hand. I was like, that's fucking good.
I wanted to reach for your hand.
That's very poetic.
Honestly, I wanted them to live together.
At the end of it, just get a place.
I wanted them to live and rule the galaxy together.
Well, dude, I wanted that in The Last Jedi, too. Whenever he offers the hand, I was like, fucking take his hand. Like, no one else is going for it.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, they would know that they could be they could be gray Jedis.
Right, they could take care of the shit.
They can balance the Force because they already know that they are the ones that do bring balance to the Force.
So she's dying. Ben Solo sacrifices... Dead. She's dead, you're right. Ben Solo sacrifices what's left of his life force to bring her back. Yeah. And then she kisses him. Now, technically she's kissing her cousin, right?
Yeah, but...
I mean, that's her cousin, right?
It's not blood related.
Yeah, but...
It's like Margot kissing Richie Tenenbaum.
Well, then, if that's the case, then both Luke and Leia are Palpatines.
Yes. Maiden name. Right there. Boom. Done. I guess, technically, yeah, they're all Palpatines at the end of the day. Yep.
Like, if we're taking it that way, where he impregnated Shmi...
They're all Palpatines. That's probably why they're so strong with the Force. So, these two are cousins. There's that weird moment where she kisses him. He's a fucking incel. He smiles. He's like, all I ever wanted was a girl to kiss me.
Thank you so much.
And then he falls back and dies. And what was great and what ruined it for me, and no disrespect, Hobbs, is he did the little pout face, and Hobbs started chortling. And he hit me, and he starts laughing. He's like, look. And then I was like, dude, he's dead. And Javi's like, oh, okay. Like, I will never forget the Rise of Skywalker because that end I will never be able to take seriously because Javi was laughing in my ear at that point. But I was like, fuck it, who cares? Because to me, This movie, what made that movie so great to me was going to see it with my friends.
Yeah.
When The Force Awakens came out, me and Jake and a group of people who are friends went to see that at the time. I mean, we had a fucking blast. That was an amazing morning.
Before Christmas.
Yeah, it was so good. Got tickets early. We showed up, went to the Alamo Draft House.
Yep.
This one we went with a group of friends again. We got to see it in IMAX. And this movie isn't the greatest version of what Episode 9 probably could have been. It works for me, and it's fan service. And we talked about before, if they fan service this, I'll be happy with it. I will stick to the fact that I'm 70-30 split on this. But now that I know what I was walking into, I really fucking enjoyed it. And like I said, Star Wars is more than just these movies. It's something that we connect about. It's something that we share with friends, and we talk about, and we debate, and we can continue to debate these movies and have a good time debating them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's just a fucking movie. And you know what? It reminds me of my childhood. And if it brings back just a little bit of my childhood, I'm totally down. And this movie totally did that. Yeah. Is it perfect? I don't think it is. But was it worth my time? Absolutely. Yes, and was it worth seeing it with my best friends in the fucking world? 100%. And we laughed, and we had a good time. And at the end of it, we went, it was a movie.
It was a movie.
Perfect ending to a mediocre trilogy.
Exactly. We appreciate you listening to us today. Check us out on Facebook at We Are Error. Send us an email at quackattack5000@gmail.com. Once again, we appreciate so much listening. Hopefully you share it with some friends. This has been Duck. I've been here with
Jake.
And
Javi.
And may the force be with you, motherfuckers. Thank you so much.
And also with you.
Oh man, that's a whole new world right there.
A whole new world
of rumplements in my belly. And there it is. Thank you so much for checking out the podcast today. If you have enjoyed it, please do not forget, share with your friends. That is how we grow the network. And if this is your first time listening, head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, iTunes, and give We Are Podcast a like. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, you're going to love the other podcast here on the We Are Podcast Network. We have We Are Bagu, a video game podcast featuring me and Dr. Ethan Eastwood. That's where we talk Atari to Steam and everything in between. Don't forget, Gyros, a Dungeons and Distractions side quest. Me and the boys were sitting down, we're playing some D&D, we're having so much fun. You can go and start that from the beginning of the journey, Season 1, Episode 1. You're going to love it all the way through. And finally, I Hate Being Sober. Personal stories from epic people. I'm going to sit down with some of the most epic people I've ever met in this world, and we're going to talk about their life, we're going to talk about their trials and tribulations, and we're just going to talk about their journey this far. Head on over to our social media. All links can be found in the description. You can find us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /WeArePodcast. Also, head over to the Facebook group, We Are Error. We would love to see you in that group. And don't forget, if you've enjoyed the podcast today, share it with your friends. That's the only way we can grow this network. With that said, do not forget, support local comedy in any way that you can. We really do appreciate it. We'll see you next time.